Today's guest is a single mom, an entrepreneur, and a recent STEM graduate of an HBCU. We're going to be talking to her in just a little bit, but first, did y'all hear about what happened with the Chinese rocket Reentry? We're going to talk about it very soon on STEM Media Live, so stay tuned. What's going on, fam? It's Nee. Welcome to STEM Media Live. I'm excited because this is the place where we chat with some of the most inspirational and creative people in the STEM community. I'm coming to you live and direct, not in my typical studio, but nevertheless, the show is still going to have a lot of value. So thank you so much for joining us here on STEM Media Live. Why am I excited, you may ask? Because today is no exception. We have another phenomenal guest this evening on STEM Media Live, so I can't wait to get into that. But first, as you all know, we have our segment that we do every week now, and that segment is entitled, Did Y'all Hear That? Rocket Reentry. Now, here's the thing. Here's the story. In case you missed it, there was an the story broke about one of the Chinese rockets had an uncontrollable re-entry as it was coming back to Earth. And a lot of people were afraid, right? They were saying, where could this rocket land? Is it going to land on land? Is it going to hit people? Tons of memes have been going around the social media space about this particular re-entry. People are worried about where it will fall. Well, there's some news that broke today that found out that a lot of the debris, a lot of parts of this rocket is being burnt up on re-entry. Right here, we have a story that has been posted by ABC News. That's really quelling a lot of the fears. So guess what? You don't have to be so afraid about this stuff falling in your backyard or maybe falling in the middle of your barbecue or your cookout. Listen, you're going to be fine. These pieces have been burnt up and they're falling, and bits and pieces are falling to the Indian Ocean. So I just wanted to mention that today because I know that there have been some memes, some tongue-in-cheek memes by some of our friends putting out about maybe this rocket may land on me and take me out of my misery for my deadlines or anything like that. Listen, you still have to get those deadlines met. You still have to make sure you carry on this week. And for those who are genuinely worried about this particular re-entry, you don't have to worry. We are okay. And that concludes our segment for today. Did y'all hear that? So now, family, without further ado, as I am coming to you again, live on location from Huntsville, Alabama, I am ready to introduce you all our guest for this evening. In case you've been following, you saw our post, we have a phenomenal guest, someone who has literally walked the stage less than 24 hours ago to get their degree. And this is the perfect person. I would say that this is probably a long-awaited guest, or the most anticipated guest I've had on the show for a while. Someone that we've spoken to probably 2 years ago, asking to come on the show. And I was told that, hey, this is going to happen when graduation comes. So without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce and read the bio to you all for our guest. She goes by the name of Andraya Pearson, and she literally walked the stage last night to get her degree in chemistry. She began her college degree in 2011, when she was majoring in psychology. However, after having her wonderful son at the age of 21, she temporarily took some time off after being redirected back to school, this time with a purpose in STEM. With many years as a full-time student studying chemistry, we know how difficult that alone could be. Also as a business owner of noble looks and experiencing the many financial challenges of motherhood, as well as just meeting tuition and financial clearance. She has finally reached this weekend the moment that she's been waiting for, and that is graduation. And so, without further ado, there has been no better guest to bring on STEM Media Live this weekend than mother, STEM graduate, and phenomenal entrepreneur, Miss Andraya Pearson. Everyone, put your hands together and welcome her on the show. Andraya, what's up? What's up? What's up?
Hi, I'm excited to be here.
Are you really excited?
I'm excited. I mean, it was probably like 1 or 2 years ago where I did make that promise that as soon as I graduate, I will be on the show.
Yes.
And I probably didn't really know how much weight that promise held, but I'm here. I'm here now.
But listen, you knew I was going to follow up on that. You knew I wasn't going to let you forget that. So welcome to STEM Media Live. Shout out to everybody watching this. This is Andraya Pearson, fresh graduate, HBCU grad. You see she got all the paraphernalia, rocking it very proudly. Yes, and she is a mother, our guest for Mother's Day weekend. So this is what we do, Andraya. We always keep the thing off. We keep the show off asking our question to break the ice. People know, they know this, and that is, give us a random fun fact about yourself before we get into the STEM, before we get into your journey. What is that random fun fact about yourself?
Okay, random. Well, I was named after my son, Andre. And I get that reaction a lot. My name's Andraya. His name is Andre. And yes, I was named after him. A couple years ago, I actually changed my first name legally.
Okay.
And so, yeah, people get that reaction all the time. And it's like, how? Like, didn't your mom know? I named myself.
Yeah.
Actually, I named the both of us.
Hey,
really?
we're not mad at that. She named herself and named her son. I've never met anybody that said that I was named after my son. That caught me off guard. So I love that. That is dope. So Andraya Pearson, and your son's name is
Andre Pearson.
Andre Pearson. So shout out to the young man out there. We definitely going to hear a little bit about his story and your stories, how y'all intertwine, and really the role that he has played just in your story and your journey up to this point. So welcome to, again, STEM Media Live. Y'all give her some love in the chat for that wonderful fun fact. And here's what I want to ask you, just to get things started right off the bat. You're in your graduation paraphernalia. You ready? You just came off the stage. What was that like? Like, how did it feel to finally reach this milestone in your career?
It felt so surreal because I was thinking of this day every day for like the last 4 years. I mean, 4 years plus, really. But every day, literally for the last 4 years, I was thinking of that day yesterday. And to just be walking in it from morning to night, it's like, wow, like to be in it. Like, I feel like I was in my thoughts, and I still feel like that because it just feels so surreal.
Yeah.
I made it. I'm done.
You made it. You made it for real. Like, did you ever get worried that like COVID was going to kind of like rob some of the joy? Because you actually got to walk across the stage and have an actual graduation.
With the mask on.
With the mask on. So there were a few precautions.
I was very much worried. A lot of like the weekend events and whatnot were done online, and I wish I was able to experience everything in person.
Right.
And so I feel like I was robbed probably about that much because I still feel very like accomplished and just overjoyful and all that. So.
Yeah. I promise you, like there were times when like after I graduated from college, I would wake up and just look at my degree real quick, just to remind myself, like, you know, you have like, you've been in something for so long, and y'all probably can relate, but you can sometimes have a dream where you forget that you passed it. You're like, yo, did I graduate? Did I got to turn in that paper? But it's nothing better than to realize, oh, I'm past that. That's a wrap. I'm not doing that anymore.
It's in the past.
Yes. Y'all give us some love, our new graduate, our fresh graduate, fresh off the stage. All right, so let's go back into your story a little bit. Like, talk a little bit about the early days of Andraya. What were your interests? Like, what do you remember very early on as relates to maybe your creative interests as well as like your STEM interests in general? Like, what are some of the early things you can tell us?
I mean, I guess early on as a child, the most I liked to do was draw, really. I like arts and crafts, really. But in school, I do have a memory that whenever it was time for science, it was me and probably like 2 or 3 other students that got called out for like a special science class.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was advanced. I just know that we had to leave for science and go somewhere else with somebody else and do science. So I guess I was advanced in science in elementary school. But after that, I had no interest in science at all.
None?
Like I avoided it. I feel like I probably didn't want to apply myself.
Yeah.
But science was one of those things where it's like, I'm not a science person. No, like not it. I failed those classes, and I did. I failed all those classes.
In high school?
In high school, specific chemistry. I think we had a chemistry class in middle school as well. I was in IB, International Baccalaureate.
There you go.
So I failed all those science classes, truthfully, and I was unashamed about it because I just knew I wasn't a science person. So it was just whatever. It was usual for me
to
have failed those classes.
It was, man, and now you graduated with a science degree.
Now
so
I graduated.
Where are you from? Tell people where you're from, though. Where are you from?
Born and raised from South Florida, Delray Beach, Florida specifically, and I am of Haitian descent. I don't have my hat now, but I did have a Haitian flag on my hat last night.
She did, y'all. She had the Haitian flag hat. That's how you can recognize it. Like, oh, that's Andraya out there. Yep. So you were from Delray Beach specifically, and you telling me that in high school you were not a science person. The person that now has a science degree was not a science person, failing chemistry in high school.
Yeah, I failed that. My math classes as well. I was better in math.
Yeah.
But math I probably failed just because I was like kind of bad.
You were kind of bad? You was getting kicked out?
I wasn't really there.
You were checked out and mentally?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So that's crazy, right? And I think that people should hear that, first of all, because sometimes people think like, those who get degrees, those who do well in STEM careers, oh, you've always been good. Oh, you've always been killing it. And it's easy for you to say go into STEM, but you're telling me that you did not have a good experience in high school.
Sure didn't. Or college. Probably about a month or two ago, I had actually just shared a memory on my Facebook. It was a status like 9 years ago where I was saying I have science homework, but I'm proudly procrastinating because science was never my thing. So if it gets done, great. If it doesn't, whatever. I shared it, and it's like, who would have thought now? I'm a whole science major now. But just like 9-10 years ago, I definitely was proudly procrastinating and boasting on Facebook about not doing my science work in college.
That is crazy. And now you're not just a whole science major, you're a whole science graduate, whole science degree holding, science degree holding. I know, right? You hold a degree, like that's money, that's time, that's blood, sweat, and tears. But it wasn't always like that. Like you graduated from high school, and you went to college first, majored in psychology. So take us back to 18? Did you graduate at 18?
Yeah, I graduated at 18.
All right, take us back to the 18, Andraya. Like what was your mindset coming out of high school, and then you went into psychology? Like, take us back there.
I mean, well, coming out of high school was a blessing because in my junior year of high school, I had a 1.8 GPA. I had a 1.8, and I was really focused in school. Like I was focused on hanging out with friends and the boyfriend, all of that. So I wasn't worried. But when I noticed all my friends had good GPAs and had already put their college applications and already got acceptance letters and they're graduating, I'm like, whoa, I need to step my game up. Yeah. So I actually I got focused my senior year. I took my radio out of my room, my TV, and I had to do a lot of credit lab where you had to just take all those classes that you failed. Like I told you, I really failed those classes. Wow. So I had to take all of those classes.
During the summer of your graduation?
I had to do it during the summer. Yeah. I had a whole period dedicated to that as well, my senior year. And so my focus was mainly on graduating high school. So after high school, I ended up graduating, I think with somewhere a 2-point-something GPA. Okay. But I didn't spend time focusing on what colleges require, So I just felt like, okay, all schools probably want you to have a 3.0, and I didn't have that. But I came across Oakwood University where they was going to take me, so it's like, okay, I get to go to school with everybody else. Yeah. And so I did go to school. I moved from Florida to Alabama to go to school.
Why did you choose it, by the way? I mean, you have people in your family that went there, right?
2 sisters that graduated there. Cool. Yeah. So it was kind of an easy find, something easy to do. And that's kind of, I'm not going to say psychology is easy because I thought it was. Yeah. But it's not easy. Got you. So
psychology was your first major, and you picked that because
I thought it was.
You thought it was easy.
Just going to be a flyby, but no, it wasn't easy. Learning about Sigmund Freud and just you have to know a lot, and I wasn't for that either. Yeah. Dang. Well, hey. We got love for psychology majors. We got love for all STEM majors. She had a rude awakening that it wasn't just going to be walking apart. And studying those papers. You have to write a lot of papers. Lots of papers. Yeah. Did I write them? I don't know. But you have to write a lot of papers. Yeah. Like that. In my early on years of school at Oakwood. Yeah. I still had my high school mindset. Yeah. Especially being away from home. I wasn't really worried about school.
Yeah.
I was worried about the fun.
Worried about the fun. I know college just seems like a party sometimes when you look at it in high school, like, oh, that's where all the fun is. I can't wait to get there. And so I guess you had one mindset when you came out of high school and went to college. And shout out to everybody that's watching really quick. We got Daylene Francois giving some love. Shout out to you, woo woo. We got Miss Gertha Charles getting applause. Everybody's enjoying your story so far, Andraya. But here's what I want to ask you though, and here's really interesting part of you just being our guest on Mother's Day, right? Obviously, an important part and a highlight and just really pivotal part, I guess I use the word pivotal, in your journey was when you had your son, right? And so your college journey got, I guess, paused for a second. So take us back to that moment and how, being that it's Mother's Day, how did that impact your journey through college, like in your mindset at that point?
Having my son really was the best thing that happened to me.
Okay.
He's like my driving force for everything I do. So a lot of times I definitely wanted to give up, but I didn't, because it's like if I give up, I'm showing him how to give up.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to show him that. But I definitely did have a 3-year break from school.
You went back to Florida?
I went back to Florida, and at that time I had got married, I had my son, and going back to school was just nowhere near part of my plans at all. Like that was just done for. Like I went to school, left, had a family, like the end. But things got circled all the way back, separated from my husband, and ended up being a hair braider. Yeah. Moving back to Huntsville, and it's like you might as well go to school.
So you're in your mind. So you tell me that in your mind, like you were literally like, I'm not going back to school.
Yeah, it was.
There's a period when you weren't.
And it wasn't where I was saying I'm not going back to school. It just wasn't a part of my mind at all. It was not a thought. Like I had no plans with school.
Yeah,
none, so.
It was just life at that point.
Yeah.
Do you feel like when you end up coming back that you, I guess, had like some sort of like new perspective on it at that point? Like, then when you came out of high school and you were like, yo, I'm about to have fun. What was your perspective now when you end up moving back to Huntsville to go back to school?
I definitely had a better perspective on education itself. Like I realized the importance of it, because during my break, I worked at so many jobs, and I lost a lot. I lost all of those jobs. Like I didn't quit. I got fired. And I realized I don't really have great work ethic to work for somebody else, And so I realized education was important, because that's going to be my life, like how I build my own life rather than building somebody else's life, working for them. And so I took all my classes. I took every assignment serious, whereas I literally never took every assignment serious before. Yeah. So it was a better perspective going back.
Yeah, you're not taking it for granted. It wasn't just about the fun.
Especially, knowing that I actually am. Like before, you're taking out loans because you just got to do it to go to school. Yeah. But now it's like, I got to pay this back. Right. I got to make it count.
So, like, this isn't just play money. This is real money.
Yes.
Oh, man.
So I think the money definitely changed my perspective, too.
Did it? Okay, got you. And so you came back, and your son was, how old was he when you decided to go back to school?
2, turning 3, my first semester back.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So he's like just not starting to talk and all that. And so as far as he's concerned, that was his memory. Like mommy in school was sort of, I guess, probably his earliest memories.
Yeah. Up until now, he's 7 years old now. Yeah. That's really all he knows of me is mommy in school, mommy doing homework, mommy going to lab, mommy finishing this test, mommy staying up to do more homework. Yeah. Like he knows all of that up until now right now.
Yeah. And that's incredible because as I said in the intro, and y'all know this, like we got a lot of STEM majors watching this. Shout out to everybody who's maybe even in pre-med, biology, chemistry, any of those pure sciences. That's difficult for anybody. Yeah. Like it's not like the easiest major for, I mean, I know I would have a hard time. Like I remember in chemistry and I would get called out sometimes because like stuff that seemed simple to everybody else, I would like get wrong or I like answer the wrong question. It was like, dude, you don't know this? And I'm like, I don't know. Like it just didn't actually click all the time for me. But you're doing this while providing for your son, and you're also sort of running a business. I need you to do me a favor, and for everybody watching, like walk us through a day in the life of a single mom, entrepreneur. I'm talking about student, lab work, homework. Like, I mean, make it as detailed as possible because we know that you experience challenges on a daily basis. So if you could go ahead and give us a day in the life.
I mean, so when I moved from Florida to Huntsville, I sold the car I had to kind of fund my move.
Okay.
So coming here, I had no car. And so, my morning started off with walking to school, like walking my son to school. I had my book bag with my books in front of me, his book bag in front of me, and him on my back. He was 2, 3. He didn't want to walk those miles, and it's like, then I was complaining because, he's 2, 3, but he's not he's hefty.
Right. He's not light. It's not like another book bag.
He's heavy. So I had all that weight, and I would walk him to his daycare. I would walk to my school, walk back, and it's pretty dangerous to hop in a car with strangers, especially with a toddler. But I took every ride, that pulled over and offered.
Yeah.
A lot of times I did have to take him to class with me, whether he sat beside me or right outside the door on the floor with his tablet and a whole bunch of snacks and Cheeto crumbs everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
And I just appreciate all my professors. They let it happen, and it's like I didn't want to be too much of a burden, but I'm so thankful because I would not have been able to do school if they didn't let me. So he went to a lot of my classes, even spring break one time, he went to class that whole week, and my teacher would give him assignments and he'll turn them in.
Are you serious?
She'll grade it. There was one time where he got a higher grade than me.
Oh no.
Righteously.
Really? What class was this?
This was calculus. So he wanted to do the work. So I was giving him the answers, and he's a kid and he's learning to write. So I was giving him abbreviated answers, you know, so he was using all the symbols. Yeah. Me, on my test, I was basically spelling out my answer with words. So with his symbols, he got it correct, but I was using wrong wording and I got an answer wrong.
Yo, did y'all hear that? She said her son did her homework and got a better grade. Right. If you tell him one day, he's gonna be like, "Oh snap!" Like I might have this.
For me,
and you might have a little calculus genius on your hands.
Yeah. And he does love numbers. He loves math. But so I'm just thankful that I was able to take him to school. I'm thankful that I'm a hair braider. I didn't have to worry about finding a babysitter for work because I already had to do that for school. Right. So I got to do hair at home with him right up under me because he likes to be right up under me.
Now, when did you start doing that? Because obviously that's one of those things is clientele, you know what I mean? People got to know you do what you do. I know for guys who cut hair, they got to be able to prove that they can cut hair before people start coming to them. So at what point did you start to say, because I'm assuming you had the skill before you started it. Yeah. But when did you start to say, all right, I'm going to make a name for myself here because, financially or whatever, as a person who braids hair and can hook you up, talk about that entrepreneurial switch that you had to turn on in marketing.
Well, I mean, I was working as a spa attendant when I decided to become an entrepreneur doing hair. So I was working as a spa attendant, but I was hired seasonal, and the season was ending, and I had no jobs lined up, and I was stressed and worried, and everyone at my job knew it, you know? So one day, I did my own hair as well. So I came into work, and my coworker was like, "Oh my gosh, your hair is so pretty. Who did it?" And I was like, "Me." And she's Haitian, so she said this in Creole, and it hit hard. She said, "Oh, you have money in your hands, and you don't even know it." Oh, wow. So I was like, okay. Fine, because at that time I was kind of praying. I was asking God, hey, show me what my talent is, whatever it is. Yeah. Let it not be doing hair. I actually hated it. So, and I guess I was kind of abused in high school, doing hair for free a lot, really. So that's why I hated it. But when she said that, it's fine, I'll just go in for that. And then I decided, that was before I moved back here. Okay. I figured it would be a more lucrative business here. And so that's kind of where my mind was. I didn't come back to Huntsville for school. I came back to do hair. That
was your first thought? Yeah. Oh, so you were like, all right, I'm going to go back to Huntsville. I'm going to use this money in my hands and build up a business there. Okay, so you started the business technically before you started your classes back. Yeah. I got you. Definitely. Got you. Man, did y'all hear that? All right, I got to pause for a second. Shout out to Gertha Charles. What a great example for your son. Daylene was laughing at you. I guess your son getting a better grade than you in the class. Here's the thing, y'all. She just said she had money in her hand. Somebody said it to her and she didn't even know it. So she was facing some challenges And I just want to say and pause right here and say there's some challenges you all are facing or you will face, and the solution is right in your hands, right? We can sometimes like avoid opportunities that we have, like things that are really the answer to our prayers, the answers to our challenges, but they're right in your hands. And so for Andraya here, it was braiding hair. And so coming back here to Huntsville was her opportunity to start building her business. I think that's great because here you are, right? I see the picture right now. You are walking to class. You say, carrying your son on your back, got his book bag. You're doing your homework sometimes when he's outside the door. I mean, doing your school, your classes when he's outside the door. Coming back, meeting clients, right? They came to your home, right?
Yeah.
All right. So they had to book you and you had to like do homework or whatever. All that going on, using your gifts. So I definitely applaud you on using your gifts. But here's what I can imagine very clearly. Like there's some times where like, all right, not only were you perhaps mentally drained, come from class, but like physically, like, yo, I'm just tired. Like I had to stay up doing this paper. I just carry my son back and forth to campus. And now this person wants me to braid their hair. Like, how did you stay motivated to keep yourself going when you, like, quite frankly, you either mentally want to call it quits or physically want to just like, yo, take it off?
Honestly, moments like this. A lot of times when I would have to take that walk to his school, my school, it happened in the rain and snow as well.
Yeah,
and I hated those days, you know? So honestly, I would really just be playing in my mind, like listening to myself tell my story. Listening to myself say, I had his book bag and my book bag in front and him on the back. Literally listening to myself tell that story is like, it made it a purpose for me. Like, I'm going to keep walking, take this step after another step because I'm going to tell this story. And if not that, I remember my Pastor Snell from First Church, he told a sermon and he just like kind of just bragged on his mom, like walking to the bus stop and having to take buses with his mom. And I just loved him saying all of these things about his mom. So it's like, if I'm not going to tell my story, my son's going to tell my story. Yeah. So those are the things that really kept me motivated because I did get tired mentally and physically with his heavy tail on my back.
Yeah. That's crazy because I kid you not. I thought I was the only one that did that. Like for real, because you know I speak, I go online here a lot, and like whenever I'm going through something, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a fire story to like end my motivational talk one day. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna tell somebody, and you're saying that literally right here as we're on Sim Media Live talking about your journey, you are actually realizing the thing that you had in your mind that kept you going.
Yes.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
It's to fruition now.
Yeah. No. Listen, this is me. This is just one opportunity. And if you all really enjoy this, I really hope you all stay engaged. We got Without a Vision, the People Perish. That is great. Gertha, thank you so much. True, I agree. Yes, y'all. This is Andraya Pearson. She just graduated, y'all, with a chemistry degree from Oakwood University, HBCU grad, single mom, entrepreneur, doing her thing and really about to take the stratosphere. She just told us how she stayed motivated. So that's great. Thank you for sharing that. Now I don't feel so weird when I'm doing the same thing in my own head too. So what would you say now? I'm just going to take that moment though. Maybe you can say it again in maybe a concise way to like perhaps a single mom that's watching this, maybe live or like stumbled across it on YouTube and they're like, man, I got like 1 more year. I got 2 more years. Or maybe they're where you were when you were just deciding to go back to school in this brand new major, right? So maybe you could just maybe turn to the audience and say just a few words before we carry on to that person who still needs to hear that plan in their head.
Look, do not give up. Do not give up. All of your hard work is not going unnoticed, or it's getting noticed. Trust me. Like, especially if you're a mother, your children see what you are doing. And remember, they're going to mimic what you're doing as well. So if you give up, you're showing them and teaching them how to give up. So don't give up. Keep going and strive for the stars because you want them to strive for the stars, you know? So like I graduated last night. They gave me a rose afterwards and I gave it to my son. Like, I want to be invited to your graduation. So I expect that out of him. And, you know, you're going to pave the way for them as well, for your kids, your child, all of that. So don't give up.
Don't give up. Y'all heard it, people. You heard it from Andraya. Don't give up. And you know, that brings us to a segment of the show that I really want to ask you about. We call this segment School Me.
School me. School me.
All right, Andraya, here it is for our School Me segment. We got this picture here on the screen. of your son putting a graduation cap on you. First of all, when did you take this picture? And then talk about the idea and just the whole meaning behind it.
I took it a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna say before I graduated. So I took it about a couple weeks ago, and I did really want to capture this picture. It means a lot to me. I feel like I'm honored, and I'm honored by him. Like, he allowed me to really get my degree. Like, he was such a good kid. Like, he understood what I was doing. He understood why I didn't have so much time for him. Like, he was very understanding, and that to me translated to his full support. Like, so many times I would give him my phone just to occupy him so I can do my stuff, my studies and whatnot. And I'll get back to my phone and see he's texting people, sorry, my mom's doing her homework right now.
Wow.
And so it's like, he really supported me. And so it's like, yeah, my degree comes from Oakwood University, but I feel like it came from him, you know? Like,
shout out to Andre.
He allowed me to.
Yeah. I love it. So it's like he's crowning you right now. I love it. And you have some other pictures too that are pretty cool. Him standing in front of you. Y'all make sure y'all go and follow her on Instagram. We're gonna plug that a little bit. You can check out some of these cool pictures. But I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So he was texting people, telling them you were busy.
Yes, my baby learned how to text. I didn't know.
Yeah. Quick shout out to the photographer who took the picture.
Pristine White Photography. Shout out.
All right. Shout out to Pristine White Photography in Huntsville, Alabama. Love it. Love that picture. We got some comments here. Andrea, Tanisha Favre says, Andrea, I am so proud of you, girlie. So shout out to you. Yes, thank you so much for your participation. All right, so that concludes right now our segment entitled School Me.
Yay.
School me. School me.
All right, Andrea, we're gonna keep this moving. So for those who don't know, the school that she just graduated from, I also graduated from, Oakwood University. So shout out to all the Oakwoodites over there. I graduated from there before I went to my master's degree program, and before I moved to Raleigh, North Carolina for my PhD program. And about Oakwood, as I think back about me getting ready to move from Huntsville to North Carolina, I think that was the very year that you started your first bout in school. 2011. Yeah. So that is exactly. I did the math. It's exactly 10 years.
Yeah.
It's not hard to do the math. 2011.
It is.
Yes. So 10 years, right? So this story you just shared with me, about again, you're having a marriage, having a son, changing your major, moving back home, starting a business, coming back up here, all that, graduating now.
Yes.
Is really a nice, solid 10-year chapter of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then you look back and as everybody got like the story of all of what that all means to you. Now, if you can do me a favor, Andrea, and think, if you will, because you're like me now, so you know how to think into the future, right? Let's imagine right now that it's 2031.
Wow.
Right? 2031. So 10 years from now, right here, we're looking back at all the accomplishments 10 years ago, the journey that you've been on. What are 3 accomplishments that you would like to say in 2031, having now looked back to this moment and say, man, I'm so thankful I was able to do this. I've been blessed to do this. Like, what are those future accomplishments that you can now play in your head?
Okay, so I do want to get my doctorates.
Oh, yes. Y'all heard it here
I
first.
do.
Y'all heard it here first on STEM Media Live. Andrea says she want to get a doctorate. This is going to be on YouTube now, so you can go back and play this and remind yourself. All right, y'all. There you go. Hold her to it.
So
All
I'm
right.
trying to get my doctorates, and hopefully in the next 10 years, because look, I told God I can't do school as a single mom again, so he has to give me a husband.
Okay.
I need the support.
Hey,
So-
she put it out there, y'all. Listen, we didn't script this. This is not planned. She said doctorate, husband. Y'all hear that?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So that's 2 things.
Well, that's actually in one.
Oh, that's one. All right. So that's one.
Right
That's
there.
one. She got some more because you're not gonna. All right. Got you.
And so I would have wanted to birth another business.
Okay.
And I guess in 10 years, I would hope that business is ready to kind of birth a nonprofit, really. So I want to pour into my business, birth another business, and in 10 years, hopefully get ready to start a nonprofit.
Wow.
For, women who have similar stories to me.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to reach women who, kind of just have those many hats. Like, I was an entrepreneur single mom and a student all at once. But what made my journey really important to me is that I was able to heal from a lot of trauma, like relationship trauma, childhood trauma, just personal, all kinds of traumas, you know? And so if I was to be able to make it a little easier for a woman who wears so many hats to be able to deal with her personal life, then I would want to be able to do that whichever way I can. So
wow, that's incredible. I think those are all noble goals. I think that you have what it takes. Obviously, you've done this much, but you definitely have what it takes to move forward academically, your personal life, business, nonprofit. Let's see, did we get 3? So nonprofit, business.
2.
That's 2. Okay, all right. What's the third one?
I would love to have been able to really discover and work in a really life-giving career by then. So I definitely want to, see what that is. I definitely know it'll probably be in a lab.
Okay.
Rather than somewhere medical.
When you say, that's what I was wondering, when you said life-giving, did you mean like something that still helps people, I guess, pretty much goes to the
well, that gives me life.
Gives you life,
really.
okay.
Like something I really love to do and I'm working in.
Yeah.
Because like I said, like I kind of had horrible work ethic. So I worked for so many different jobs. None of them are it. None of them gave me life. So now with this degree, I would love to discover what kind of work I can do that I love to do.
Well, I got you. Except for the one part, I don't know if somebody can accomplish with horrible work ethic. So you got it in there somewhere. You just have to it's just not always at the surface, I guess.
At least for me, just not for somebody else. I have good work ethics for me.
There you go. I love it. I hope y'all enjoying this as much as I love it. We definitely get a lot of love in the chat. Thank y'all so much for commenting. Andraya Pearson is here with us, and she is a single mom who just completed her degree in chemistry, y'all. And she's an entrepreneur, started her own business, Noble Looks, right? Talk about that really quick. Do you have any visions for continuing that? And what do you see Noble Looks or this enterprise being in the future?
Well, Noble Looks, I do want to continue in it. Okay. I probably won't be braiding hair myself anymore. I got a degree. I feel like my prices increased.
Price went up. Y'all heard that? Okay, her price went up.
But I definitely want to continue it, and that would be where my nonprofit will come from, Noble Looks. And I named it Noble Looks. Noble specifically from the verse Proverbs, 31:29. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all.
That's good.
And so I would want, many women to have those words be said to them, to have that kind of praise be said to them.
Yeah. Well, I love it. And I just, just because you said that, this is not with Flan either, but, we really believe in promoting, underrepresented talent, people that you don't traditionally see in STEM. And women in STEM is another thing that STEM media really cares a lot about. And so I'm just wondering if you have any thoughts on that too, as it relates to, women who have the intelligence, but perhaps people in their circle may not see them as, a science type or a business type or whatever, right? Yeah. And but they have the ability, right? There's room. So I just wonder if you had any thoughts on that, the increase of women in these spaces that you.
I feel like it might sound cliche because I think, we've all heard it. We all have the ability. We all do. And I actually believe it now because I see, Black excellence on social media a lot. Yeah. And as much as I've seen it, I would have never thought I could be someone that could be considered to have done something excellent as obtain a chemistry degree. Yeah. So the fact that, I've seen it all the time, and then now I know I'm going to be walking in my Black excellence, a woman in STEM. It just really proves we all have the ability. I would have never thought I had it. So it's we really all do have that ability. So.
Yeah, totally. Y'all heard that. Walking in your excellence. Y'all walk in your excellence. This is for you. If you felt that, then that's for you. All right. I don't care if you're watching this live or on replay. If you felt what she's saying, as I did, then please continue to walk in your excellence. This has been phenomenal, Andraya. I'm just so thankful that you came on Still Media Live. And go ahead and take a moment right now and tell people how they can keep in touch with you. You got Noble Looks page, you got your personal page. Talk about all the stuff that you're doing online, how people can connect with you and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so my Instagram page, it's @ShyAndre, and that's with 2 Y's, so SHYY Andre, that's my son's name. You can stay connected with me there. I do have a hair page, Noble Looks. You can follow, you feel me, support, okay? Because I'm still going to be doing hair this summer. But my main page is at Shy Andre on Instagram.
Got it. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right, so we do this thing at the very end of the show. I hope you all have been enjoying this, because I really have. And again, this is probably one of the most anticipated interviews that I've had since I've been doing this for the past 3 years-ish, Andrea. And so now we finally make it happen. So we do this thing where we ask for parting words of wisdom, right? And this doesn't have to be original. It could be something that you can think of. It could be something that people have got to you, given to you. It can really be anything, right? But this is just really your sort of your mic drop moment. All right, you don't have to be crazy, no pressure. But you've already given a lot of great advice. You've already poured into a lot of people watching this. And so I'm just wondering if you got any final parting words of wisdom that you can leave with us before we say goodbye.
Well, I will say to give yourself grace. And that was actually given to me through a sermon. And I say give yourself grace because there's so many times in the last few years while I was a student at Oakwood University, I compared myself to so many of my classmates. And I felt very underachieved. And not only as a student, but also as a hair braider. I compared myself to so many other hair braiders, people who started braiding hair at the same time as me. And you look at their page and they just took off, and I'm still kind of at the same level. And I feel like, you know what? Give yourself grace. I had to give myself grace because I know that it's because I'm still a student and my priority is to have finished school. And so I really felt underachieved, but it's like, you know what? I had a lot more responsibility than the people I compared myself to. And sometimes we don't look at what we have and how much weight we're holding when we're comparing ourselves to other people. So give yourself grace.
That is great. Give yourself grace, y'all. Give yourself grace, Andrea. I just want you to know, I mean this, and I'm saying this on camera. I am super proud of you. I am super proud of you. I of course, know you for a while. I know a little bit more about your story. This is a lot I learned on this conversation too, to be honest with you. But I am so proud of you because you did it. You stuck with it. Yeah. And it's not, we hear it all the time, the word is not given to the swift or the strong, but to them who endure. Like you endured, right? Yeah. So you continued on. Shout out to your son, young Andre. Shout out to everybody who's been a part of this. But most importantly, I just want you to know that you have done something great. And you can use this now, right? As something you can remind yourself of, because there will be more challenges. Life continues, right? Mm-hmm. There are more things that we face. And you will have bigger goals, as you already said, doctorate. Okay. You know what I mean? You got nonprofit, business, all these goals, right? But it's always possible. And you can always use these as stepping stones to remind you that, hey, if you did it before, if I did it before, if we made this happen before, we can make it happen again. Yeah. So thank you so much for your time. I just want you to know I'm proud of you. I'm happy to have had you on the show. And everybody, thank you so much for joining us on STEM Media Live. Please make sure you go follow her. Make sure you take those words to your heart as I did. This has been another tremendous episode. And I just can't wait to watch this back too, because again, this is bringing so much bringing so much fullness to my heart. Andrea, I just, again, thank you so much for coming on. And all the best to everybody watching this. And just to remind you, STEM Media Live is brought to you by the STEM Media Network. That's right. Go to STEMmedia.com and you can check out some of our video series, our courses, our podcasts, and so much more to bring empowerment and education and elevation to your STEM journey. So make sure you go to STEMmedia.com today and check out a free trial. And in case you don't know, we do this every Sunday right here on STEM Media's YouTube channel, sometimes on Instagram, and we interview some of the most inspirational and creative people in the STEM community, as you heard just now from Andrea. And so until then, you all keep grinding, keep shining, and I will see you in the winner's circle. So take care. Peace.